What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Brian and today I have a fun one for you. It's not going to be so fun for me, but it is really important. I just went to Lake Tahoe this past weekend. It was snowing up there, the roads were nasty. I had an awesome adventure with my daughter, my family, and my Jeep, but now my Jeep is covered in road salt and muck, and I really need to get it off because I care about the car and I want to make sure that it lasts a long time. And if you're not aware, road salts can be the death of a car's chassis because when they mix with bare metal, they cause rust and corrosion, and eventually it will destroy the car. So it's really important to get the road salts off really quickly, and I'm going to use my kind of tried and true method. I know a lot of people use pressure washers. I personally like the do it by hand, be very thorough, 2-bucket, one for soap and water that is clean, one for the dirty water to rinse the wash mitt. Apply soap liberally, use the wash mitt thoroughly, and then hand dry. Now, I expect this is actually going to go really easily for the body of the car and everything that is easily accessible, but I am going to have a problem underneath the chassis, and that's the area that it's most important to actually get clean. So I'm going to do this as a 2-part process. This is day 1. I've actually ordered an undercarriage cleaner that attaches to a high pressure washer from Amazon, and I'm going to give that a shot to clean the underside of the car tomorrow. But before we get into that, I actually have to share this because this just arrived today and it is vanity plates for the car, and I feel like this car just earned it for sure this past weekend. So let's get this open. I gotta share with you what plates this car is gonna be wearing. I do this for all of my cars. It's just a really fun thing, and wait till you see what I got. OVALAND. I honestly cannot believe this plate was still available, but there you go. Super excited to get this one on the Jeep as well. So let's get into it. Again, it's just 1 bucket hot water soap, 1 bucket hot water to rinse the dirty mitt, wash mitt, hose, rinse everything thoroughly. Again, this Jeep has full body paint protection film, so the cleanup should actually be really easy. And in fact, even though it was super painful from a cost perspective when I first bought the car to have this done, it makes cleaning a breeze and it keeps the black paint looking so fresh. If you're interested in doing it, you might think it's absurd, but I actually highly recommend it, especially if you have a dark color paint for your rig. Now, as you can see from the close-up shots, this Jeep is pretty darn dirty at the moment. There is road salt caked on everywhere, and so because I'm not using a high pressure washer, it's really important to be really thorough and really liberal with the hose to just really get in there and get all of this road salt out anywhere that I can visibly see it. Now, as a first sort of pre-wash step, so to speak, I am going to rinse the car very thoroughly using just a hose, water, get as much salt off the body as I possibly can so that when I go and use the wash mitt, I don't actually have as much salt to contend with, and I'm not actually taking abrasive salt and rubbing it all over the body. Now again, my Jeep does have paint protection film, but this is especially important if your car doesn't, because you don't want to add a bunch of scratches and swirl marks to your beautiful paint. Now, the other thing that's probably just common sense is you're going to want to work from the top down. That way all the salt you rinse off from the top gets cleaned out to the bottom so that you're not creating rework by going from the bottom up. Now, this is a bit of a messy job, so I always wear clothes that I'm not afraid to get wet or dirty in. I always take a shower after anyway. And I know you could just go to a car detailing service for this, but for whatever reason, I'm super OCD, so I always just end up doing this sort of thing myself. You know the saying, if you want something done right, you better go do it yourself. And another point, when we're done with the body, we're going to open all the doors, get into all the crevices, and clean up all of the salt that's been caked on in these little nooks and crannies. So we've rinsed the car and we're now back into kind of the door sill area. So we just want to clean all of this salt off if we can. Now it's also important to get under the hood, and in this case thankfully it's not too dirty, so I'll probably take a microfiber towel and quick detail and wipe this off as best as I can. I don't necessarily want to be spraying a hose into the engine bay. And don't forget to do the wheels and tires while you're at it. They are made out of metal and they can rust and corrode as well. So the body of the Jeep has been thoroughly rinsed, soaped, scrubbed, and rinsed again. The final step today is to dry it. For that, I have this nice thick weight drying microfiber towel. I'm just gonna go over the car once, then I'm actually gonna drive it around a bit to let it air dry. And then I have one final tip for you before we close out today. And that is, in the back of my Jeep, I keep a grab bag of car care goodies. So I have some microfiber towels, both drying and sort of cleaning, and I have quick detail spray. And so the thing about car care is you're never really done. You know, I have really hard water here, so when I wash the car and it dries, it will inevitably leave hard water spots. That's where the quick detailer spray comes in. And now with the road salt especially, if I see anything on the vehicle as the days go by, I'm just gonna break this out, clean it off, and that way I know I'm gonna take really good care of this Jeep for many years and many great memories to come. Now for drying purposes, in addition to the microfiber towel, I also do have a California water blade. It's a squeegee. This thing has kind of mixed reviews among car detailers. The risk is that you can pick up something that's abrasive, a rock or dust, in this case road salt, and you can just drag it along your body and create streaks and scratches. So it's a high risk thing to be using. Now, I'm generally really careful with this and I've never had a problem. I typically rinse the blade with water first, and then I feel it with my hand and make sure there's no abrasive materials on it. I check this multiple times while drying. I primarily use this for windows and large flat body panels that are just pooling water to get the majority of the water off so that it's easier to use this. Again, in this case, my Jeep is covered in paint protection film, so there's really no risk to using this at all. Your mileage may vary, so I'd really recommend being careful with this, but it is a huge time saver. What's up everyone? I'm back. Unfortunately, it is a couple of days later, which is not ideal because the Jeep lives outside, so it's gotten a little bit dusty, but overall it still looks pretty clean, and I now have the fun tool that I was hoping to get in this box. Again, this is an Amazon buy, so if you see this video and you're interested in this product, I have a link in the description below. It would go a long way if you were to purchase from that link. And let's get into it. So this is an undercarriage washer slash water broom that works with a high pressure washer to basically clean the undercarriage of your car very efficiently. And I actually have a really great update for you guys. I am really OCD. I am just very particular when it comes to stuff like this. So I've done a lot of research and I actually reached out directly to the local Jeep fab shop. The owner there is actually the head mechanic for the Jeep Jamboree, so he really knows his stuff. And this video really, it turns out, needs to be sort of a West Coast edition to cleaning salt off of a car, because basically what he said is most people who just take their car up to Lake Tahoe for a weekend here and there, but live in a dry climate like California, actually don't really need to do anything. In fact, he said he's been doing this for 20 years. He's never seen an issue with premature rust from any Jeep that goes through his shop coming out of California, and they go up to Tahoe and run the Rubicon all the time. So he actually said, this is completely unnecessary for me, but I've got it. I want to do it just for peace of mind. So here we go. I actually was going to buy the Ryobi version of this product, but I did a lot of research and turns out that one isn't that great, it seems, from a reliability long-term perspective. It kind of falls apart on you. So that being the case, I figured I'd just try another no-name off-brand from Amazon. This one has great reviews. It's about $46. It's supposed to do what I need, so let's check it out. Some nice extras. Comes with a microfiber wash mitt. The core product itself, which is basically just a high pressure water hose attachment with 4 spray nozzles and a brass connector that allows it to either point up, or if you want to use it as a water broom, point down. So it looks like it's got a pin on one side. You basically pull it out and you can change the direction of the connector. So this would be the water broom mode, and that would be the undercarriage mode. So let's get this attached. Let's see how well it works, and let's wrap this video up. There are a couple of extensions, which is nice because we're gonna actually want to get this well under the car through to the other side. So I'm actually going to take this connector off because the angle is just too extreme. It wants to point back at me. I'm just going to try it straight and see how it goes. Alright, so initial impression, this thing is pretty darn slick. To the hand, the pressure is not so strong that I think it's going to cause any damage underneath. I think it's just going to get all of the sand and dirt and salt that's underneath there off, which is my end objective here. And it's super efficient. As you can see, I was able to basically sweep the entire front of the car in just a handful of seconds. So this is going to take a job that normally would be very messy and time consuming to get under the car, spray it with a hose, and I would miss a lot of spots. It's going to just take care of that in a matter of minutes. Overall, I think this product is a huge win, notwithstanding how long it will hold up, but it does feel quite durable to the hand. The brass fittings and connectors for the spray nozzles definitely feel like they're quality, along with the wheels themselves. And I can also try out the water broom mode of this just for good measure. But let me finish up the car and then we can wrap this video up. right, so that's actually a job done, easy peasy, much easier than actually kind of hand washing the car myself using the 2-bucket method. But that's just how I am. That's just how I'm probably going to continue to do this going forward. I really don't like pressure washing the body of my car. I've seen the pressure washer kind of do damage to things, and I just don't even want to risk it. This particular tool actually, again, does not output at the high pressure you'd get from a single nozzle. I think in part because there's 4, so it's distributed the pressure across all 4 of them. Overall, I think this is an absolutely fantastic product. I'm incredibly impressed with it, which is honestly a great thing. So I'm gonna wrap this video up, but as kind of a final bonus, let's check out the water broom feature of this tool and call it a day. Wow, so that actually worked fantastically well as well. I was not expecting that. I now have a dual purpose tool that I can use for cleanup of serious muck, particularly in my driveway area like I just demonstrated. Now, I am not the kind of bad weather salt cleaning expert. As I started to do more research, I started to kind of get that uneasy feeling that there's a lot more I could, should, or need to be doing here. And that's where talking to my local Jeep mechanic who's got a lot more experience than me really helped kind of ease my mind with respect to what's necessary. Again, he is the head mechanic for the Jeep Jamboree that runs the Rubicon Trail every year. He's been in business for decades, so I have extreme confidence in his knowledge base and what he has to say. And again, in this case, he said, really cleaning the undercarriage of your car is completely unnecessary if you live in a dry climate like California and you only go up to the snow a couple times a year. He's never seen an issue with premature rust, which is great news. I know if you live on the East Coast, there are sealants you can apply. I did ask the mechanic about that, and he said it's completely unnecessary here in California. So again, this is sort of a West Coast edition of cleaning your car and getting the salt off. If you have any tips, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And that's all I've got for this one. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you at the next one soon.